Dr. Modrak?
Here.
Mr. Morella?
Here.
Mr. O'Brien?
Here.
Mr. Palma?
Here.
Mr. Rappaport?
Here.
Ms. Zuckerman? Here. Mr. Arena?
Here.
I'm going to apologize in advance. Udamella? Pretty close? Okay.
Thank you. Pledge of allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First order of business would be to introduce and welcome our student representatives from the high school, Chris Arena and Shakar. I'm not going to attempt the last name. All right, gentlemen, thank you so much for coming, and we look forward to seeing you through the school year. What we do here usually is you give us a little update of what's happening, and then I'm sure you'll be able to sneak out. We won't hold that against you. But before we start, maybe you could just introduce yourselves, tell us a little bit about you, and so on and so forth. Why don't we start with you, Chris?
Hi everyone, I'm Chris. I'm the SAC president at the high school. I'm also in the National Honor Society, and I participate in baseball in and out of Montville and basketball as well.
Thank you, Chris.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Shakar. I am the president of the class of 2020. Within school, I do extracurriculars like FBLA, PAL, and I'm also in the National Honor Society and NCA.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Would you like to update us on what happened? I know it's only been a couple of weeks, but I'm sure you solved the problems with the world at the high school during that period of time.
Yes.
So why don't we start?
So first off, we'll have some PSAT news. So less than 1,000 students every year in the Academic All-American Award out of over 141,000 student members of the National Speech and Debate Association. And the following students at NTHS earned the National Speech and Debate Association Academic All-American Awards. And that was Cameron Coe, Andrew Lynn, Kevin Mao, Mary Anderson, Christine Sun, and Anderson. Moving on from there, we had 6 seniors who were announced as National Merit Scholarships for finals, which were on the top 1% of high school seniors on the PSAT. These students were one of our own three-part Mel, Mira's Astronaut, Haley Quinn, Jay Moulet, Kara Moon, and Christine Sun, and you'll all have a chance to move forward in the competition and possibly earn a scholarship among them. So now we have past athletics. After almost 2 weeks from kickoff of the regular season from fall sports, all teams have been really successful. Our boys soccer team, following off a great season, which they made the sectional semifinals, has an incredible start to the season where they have started 6-0 and they won today. It was 7-0. 7-0 against Pokemon. And Captain Hunter Coleman and Burton looked to this team on this deep state run. The girls soccer team has a new head coach, Coach Sands. The team has been off to a good start for the season. They won the first game against Coach John. They scored 3-2 and followed a quickly victory against Morris Hills. They then suffered first and second losses to Sparta and Jefferson. Junior, Danny Vito, was named Muslim of the Week last week. And in the first 4 games, Danny has had 6 goals, including the overtime game winner against Morris Hills. And today, the girls tied to Morristown. They're now a record of 2-2-1.
This season, girls volleyball started off with a tough loss against Mount Olive with a score of 2-0. They won their second game against Morris Knolls 2-1 before dropping their next game against West Morris. The team turned it around with a 2-0 victory at Mountain Lakes. They currently stand with a record of 2-2 before the season. The girls' field hockey team started off the season with 2 straight victories, beating Parsippany 2-1 and Parsippany Hills 4-2. Unfortunately, the team dropped their next 2 games against Madison and Morristown Youth. They currently stand with a record of 2 wins and 2 losses. Boys and girls cross country started off the season last Saturday. Girls cross country lost a tough game with a score of 30-29 against Sparta. Boys cross country won their first match against Parsippany Hills. After starting off the season with 2 tough losses, the girls' tennis team picked up a win against Morristown with a score of 3-2. However, they lost their next 3 matches against Randolph and Milburn and Chatham, dropping them to 1-5 on the season. After coming off of last year's great season with a record of 8 wins and 3 losses, football started off their season opener in the Valley with a 26-0 victory over Montville. The student attendance for the game was unreal. The Mustangs continued their great play and commanding 20-0 victory at Canaan. They have yet to let up a point this season. They currently stand at 2 wins and 2 losses and will be hosting West Milford this Friday.
That was past information. Now we're going to move on to ongoing and future news. This week, Monday, September 16th through Friday, September 20th, the SEC is running its annual sport week. It's a week-long event, and the entire school participates, and it kind of helps you off in your school year. So each day we have a theme. So yesterday was Monday, which was Pajama Day. Today was Character Day. Wednesday will be USA Day. Thursday is Montville Township, and Friday is Montville Day. Where freshmen will be wearing yellow, sophomores will be wearing green, juniors will be wearing white, and seniors will be wearing black. In addition, after each Spirit Week day, we will tally up the points to see who in each grade participated. And at our annual pep rally, we will crown the winner of Spirit Week, and we'll have also numerous events going on at pep rally. Also, Thursday, September 19th, we will at 6 p.m. will be hosting the annual bonfire in the student factory parking lot, and that is also made to kind of kick off the school year and support the athletic events going on. And then that night of Friday, September 20th, will be the day of the pep rally, and we also have the blackout game for the football game, and also the senior play.
Starting yesterday, auditions were held for the upcoming fall play this year, and they're continuing throughout the week. And next week, on Tuesday, the 23rd, Monday the 23rd, will be the annual Montville Township High School Back to School Night. In addition, there will also be auditions held for the upcoming Broadway for this year. Thank you, and that concludes the report.
That's all that's happening?
Just
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Do any board members have any questions of our...
Yeah, just a comment. Welcome aboard. I must say, I've been on the board 14 years, and 14 years, with all due respect, to some very good student representatives we've seen. I think this is one of the best, if not the best, and more most well-organized presentations I've ever seen for a student representative. You guys did a great job. Thank you.
We only have one way to go now, guys. It's down, so let's keep it up there, all right? Again, thank you very much, gentlemen. We look forward to seeing you. Our next meeting is October 15th. We only have one meeting in October. So I guess you can get a schedule from principal or whoever, and we look forward to seeing you. Remember, we might change locations here and there. They'll be here at the high school. And the last year they went to the wrong place one night, but I'm sure you guys will be able to find us. Thank you very much, and good luck with your Spirit Week this year. Maybe the seniors will win the competition. Who knows? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good night now. Superintendent's report, Dr. Brookstrom.
Okay, we did have a very successful opening to the school year, I think all the way around. I want to extend my thanks to Mrs. Slunt, Mr. Choate, and the facilities and maintenance custodial staff for all the work that they did to prepare the buildings. It's always challenging when you have construction projects going on. Some of them were, still putting the finishing touches on, but a lot of work took place this summer, and the buildings look beautiful. So it was wonderful to welcome the students and the staff back. We also launched Schoology this year. We had a few hiccups, glitches in terms of access for some parents. We're still working on resolving some of those issues. But I think by and large, Austin Thompson and his staff have done a wonderful job of trying to track down the individual problems with some of the parent log-on access issues and resolve as many of those as quickly as they possibly could. We do, as the students mentioned, we are launching into our back-to-school nights. We have the elementary back to school night this Thursday, the high school is Monday the 23rd, and the bazaar is Thursday the 26th. We do encourage parents to come out. We think it is a critical aspect in terms of our kind of triad with parents, teachers, and students in terms of the communication and the understanding of what the students will be experiencing during the course of the year. We see back to school night as a very valuable experience, and we would encourage parents to participate in that. We do have a presentation that Mrs. Swan will be doing this evening, so I will conclude my report and turn things over to her.
Just to hold on the financial report, can we just hold that to the end like we did last time? And we'll get through the agenda and we'll make that at the end of that. Okay, just a couple of items for me. Some of you may have seen the banners on Forest Neck Road that the town put up, and I'd like to thank Rich Cook and Matt Kane for their support of this program. Also, we have Charlene Peterson, representing from the New Jersey School Board. She'll be attending some of our meetings in the future. That's one of our goals, to become certified, and that's scheduled to be brought shortly. At this point, I'd like to ask each of you, when you get a chance, please review the good news and progress. A lot of it has been reiterated tonight, but there's still a lot of great things happening, and I would encourage you to look at that. All right, may we have a look at the committee reports, finance and facilities. Karen?
The committee met just prior to tonight's meeting. There were just a few items on our agenda. The first two items were the financial position of the school district for the 18-19 school year, as well as the 19-20 school year, and the status of the audit, which is ongoing. The next item was an update on the facilities in terms of the referendum projects, and I'll let Katine speak to that since she's a lot more fluent. And it was a relatively short meeting, so that concludes my report, and then Katine, if you would just update us on the facilities. As we completed the summer projects, we were working in Valley View, Hilldale, and Woodmont to do work in their gymnasiums, media centers, and bathrooms. Hilldale was the only one who still had a few projects left. The library has been enclosed in glass panels, and the glass panels were delayed. So with the beginning of the season for back-to-school nights, that room will not be fully furnished. However, it'll be fully done. So all three of those projects are complete, less the furniture in the media center. In terms of air conditioning, we have air conditioning in all academic spaces. What we are doing right now is tying those air conditioners into the building management systems. One of the pieces of the referendum was to institute building management systems that would control the heating and the cooling of the buildings, so that could be done from a central location in order to promote sustainability and to not have it run 24/7. So that process is in works. It may mean that at times there are air conditioners that are down as we tie those air conditioners in. However, we are to the point where we're slowly completing that project as well. So with that will conclude a lot of the pieces of the first two phases of the referendum. We're still not done. We will still have a phase 3 that we'll begin to gear up for as we finish up air conditioning, bathrooms, roofs throughout the district. And that work would be done then in the summer of 2020.
Thank you. Curriculum, Michael?
No report, we haven't met. Hopefully in the next few weeks we can firm something up to meet fairly soon as it's going to happen.
Policy, John?
Meeting on Monday.
Yes.
Monday?
No, we don't have.
Excuse me. What's the policy?
Is there a schedule?
Curriculum, no, there's not on schedule. I said that hopefully in the next couple of weeks we can pick a date.
Okay. Communications, John?
No report.
Safety, John?
Nothing.
Delegates, school board tomorrow?
I attended first meeting of the executive committee of New Jersey School Boards as current vice president of legislation. And I forgot my notes at home, so I'll update you at the next meeting. I also attended or chaired the first legislative committee of the year on Saturday. And it generally is a quiet time in Trenton right now, but things will get busier after the first of the year. There's a board of directors meeting on September 22nd.
Thank you. Morris County, Mike?
The Morris County School Board Association.
So
meeting-
Ryan, the microphone, please.
The Morris County meeting will be this Thursday, the 19th, at the, is it Mansion or Mansion? Mansion, okay. In Mountain Lakes. First meeting of the year, and I encourage all my colleagues on the board to sign up and attend. It's a dinner and one credit available for its certification, certified school board member. Presentations are always very good, so I'm looking forward to this.
Thank you, Michael. John, education credit?
We're going to be meeting at their new facility, our next meeting, which should be the first Wednesday of next month.
Thank you. Go to the minutes, Mr. Palmer?
There was a meeting last week, unfortunately I was unable to attend, it was the last one, emergency.
Mustang?
Okay, the Mustangs met last week, was their first meeting of the year. They usually meet on the first Wednesday, but because it's the beginning of the year, so the next meeting will be October 2nd. There was a lot of discussion about their plans for the year, about the fundraising. And they do a tremendous amount. They're really a hard-working group of people. I just want to mention the Mustangs have, for those who aren't or have rebranded or renamed themselves, they're now called the Athletic Boosters Association. And we still like the name Mustangs, but that's their official name now. And so there's a lot of talk about planning basically for the year and so on. Okay?
Liaison? Any liaison? I don't think they've met yet, right? Not yet? Okay. The Hillsdale liaison, President Mr. O'Brien.
Yeah, as you requested, I'm going to pick that up.
Okay.
Okay, and their first meeting is going to be the 26th of March. Okay, so I'll be taking that.
I'd also like to have a backup for Rosario in high school. Mr. Rappaport, if you could be the backup in case Dave can't make it, or you can go with him for the middle school.
Sure.
In the high school, Brian, if you can be the backup here with Michelle, or go with her if you want. Okay? I think one thing is the updates that we've been getting from Renee and the team have been very helpful. And I'd like to try something that maybe for the next several months, if we could get the update from our two assistant superintendents, just to let us know what's happening, because a lot is occurring during the first weeks of school, a lot of curriculum, and that way we can see what's happening in their area also. Public participation. Any member like to speak to the public on any items on the agenda? We have an addendum. I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda and the addendum.
So moved.
Second.
Do you have that, team? Okay. The minutes, aye. J is none. K. Okay, there is some tuition students. K. Financial. L. Personnel. M. Curriculum Technology. A lot of field trips being approved. This is done for a yearly basis. And then N. Economic policies, as Mr. Morello reported, that we're meeting next week. And we have a section P. No, that's a consent resolution, excuse me. We have an M4, M5, and M6, okay? Roll call, Mrs.
Mr. Morella?
Yes.
Mr. Palmer?
Yes.
Dr. Portolino?
Yes, except abstain on N41.
Mr. Daughtry?
Yes.
Dr. Wondrak?
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien?
Aye.
Mr. Rappaport?
Yes.
Ms. Zuckerman?
Yes.
Mr. Grau?
Yes. There's no need, we're not going into closed session. Do we have any old business? I haven't got around to seeing it, so. Any general board comments, new business, Michael?
Yeah, I'd just like to mention for everyone who has had the opportunity, and our young delegates mentioned earlier, Friday night is a home football game. It's a tremendous show. We have a great award-winning band. We have a really, really good football team this year. We have some tremendous athletes. For those of you that have been here, the president of the games, and a great cheerleading squad. So, now that you have these nice cars to get in, I encourage everybody to get out. It's a terrific Friday night out, and you can always go for pizza afterwards. So I'd like to encourage you to get to a football game on Friday night. It's really, really terrific event. It's a showpiece for our community. Okay, here at home, Friday night, 7 o'clock.
Michael is very humble, and he has been announcing the football games for many years, and it's really amazing that the people keep coming back with him as the announcer. But he does a fine job, he volunteers his time, and we thank you for that, Michael.
He's the voice of the Mustang.
And one of these years, he'll get the names right when he's announced. No, he did a fine job. He does a fine job.
Just a segue into what Mike was saying about how great our school is, I'm sure most of you are aware, it is now official. New Jersey has the best public schools in the country, and I hope everyone is paying attention to that. And this was a survey done by Education Week, and it's a highly regarded publication. And they mentioned 3 factors that won us that ranking, and that is our commitment to education, the resources that we provide for education, and our academic achievement. So I think all New Jersey residents, whether you have children in school or not, should be very, very proud of New Jersey public schools.
Thank you, Karen.
Just to follow up on that, if I might. When I read that also, I was very proud of it. Okay, that New Jersey was #1 now. And I think just for our community, we've known this, okay? We've known this. We have a tremendous school district here. And it's because of the support of the community, of the board, and the outstanding administrative and teaching staff that we've had over the years in this district. And I for one, am just very proud to be associated in any way with this district. When you say Montville, and you go somewhere and you say that, you associate with people, that right away, that is something. And it really is, and you see that in the faces of people that you talk to. We have such a great, our state and our district. Terrific.
Over the years, New Jersey has really always ranked in the top 5, and it's usually a competition between New Jersey and Massachusetts.
Mm-hmm.
This year, we beat out Massachusetts, and another factor that was considered was our attempts to close any achievement gaps. I think we should be proud of that as well.
I think it is great, and I think, as you say, Michael, you're very proud of Malcolm, and I think a lot of that is actually we're an outstanding board, but I think more seriously with outstanding leadership on the part of our superintendent, and the superintendent is always the one that leads, and I think we're very fortunate to have Dr. Goldfarb as that leader. And again, I'd like to thank her for that leadership, making Montville the district it is. Thank you very much. All right, the team, unless there's anything else, we'll have the team. This is the second program of this nature. First one was in August, I believe. That was the easy one. This one's going to be a little bit more difficult. But the team's going to go through it briefly, and if you have any questions, please ask her. If you want to ask them tonight, you can ask her Friday.
Last time we met, we had begun the first of what will be 6 installments reviewing the financial reports of the district. This came out of the board self-evaluation, asking for more detailed review of the financial reports. In front of the board is the board secretary's report as of August 31st and the related treasurer's report for the same period. I'm going to just ask the board to turn to page 4 of the board secretary's report. This is where we summarized last time. We had spoken about the fact that we start this process in the budget cycle in the time frame of January through April, and that the financial reports pick up that information from the budget cycle and carry it forward throughout the whole year as all the different events that occur within the district convert into financial transactions. And this reports summarize those financial transactions throughout the entire year until we get to the end. And when last time we met, we were looking at the reports for June 30th, 2019. So we saw what it looked like when we got to the end. Now we're looking at August. The column, the very first column, the budgeted estimated, is the budget that was approved in April. This is the summary of the budget that you approved, and we went through in detail through all the different meetings that we had in January, February, and March. And that first column represents all of those discussions laid out in 3 different sources: local sources, federal sources, and state sources in terms of money coming in, and 2 different areas: current expense distributed and current expense undistributed. For the expenditure side, money going out. And we discussed last time we were here about how the expenditures represent actual cash going out the door, and the encumbrances represent the balances on purchase orders that the district has, and money left over is shown in that last column as available or yet to be received. In the case of the revenues, when it's positive, it means that it has not yet been received. In the disbursements, when it's positive, it means that it has not yet been spent. So that's sort of a summary of what we talked about last time. What we're going to do this time is we're going to go beyond the revenues and expenditures, and we're going to look at what flows through the rest of the financial statements. So if you turn to the very first page of your board secretary's report, the first 3 pages represent the balance sheet. And what the balance sheet shows is that the total assets of the district, all the things that it owns related to the general fund, has to equal all the liabilities and the equity that it holds. And that's a basic accounting: assets equal liabilities plus equity. The first page is your assets. So we own assets for the general fund for things like cash and cash equivalents. Our taxes are set up as receivables, so that's money that's going to come to us. Other accounts receivable will be money owed to us from the state. This is where we're recording the taxes, all the state aid, and these receivables are related to the revenues that you saw on page 4. If you turn to the second page where it says liabilities, accounts payable, that is open balances that we owe to vendors, and those numbers are tied to the expenditures that we talked about on page 4. So the discussion we had last time, how we begin to make charges through the payable process of the purchase order going to an expense, that process then flows up into this balance sheet, and that's where it's shown as assets and resources and liabilities and equity. I'd like to draw your attention to the treasurer's report, which is the single-page piece of paper that is sitting in front of you. What that document shows is cash. It's cash in and cash out. And these balances are reconciled back to the bank statements. so that all the items that are listed on that treasurer's report reconcile back to actual cash that is being held in our bank accounts. It also reconciles into the board secretary's report. So we have a check and balance system. The numbers that are on the board secretary's reports have to agree and reconcile back to the cash that's actually sitting in the bank. So, for example, if you look at the first page of the board secretary's report, the very first line says cash in bank, and it has a balance. And if you go to that very first line on the treasurer's report, the ending cash balance, it has a balance, and those two numbers agree. Meaning that the financial reports that we produce as the reports to the district and the cash that's sitting in the bank accounts can be reconciled to each other. They agree with each other. These two documents are created independent of each other. The treasurer's report is created between the treasurer and her assistant. The board secretary's report is created through the culmination of our financial system by myself and my assistant. So collectively, we're doing this as two independent events, and the purpose of that is so that there is a check and balance system, and so that the cash that you're reading on your financial reports actually is real cash that's sitting in the bank. As the year progresses, the payables get paid, the receivables get realized, and we collect the funds, so that by the time we get to the end of the year, the $59 million in taxes has been completely collected and is no longer receivable. Or the $1.9 million that's sitting in payables has been completely paid. And we liquidate all of those. Theoretically, by the time you get to the end of the year, the June 30th reports, you will have cash and fund equity. Fund equity is the same as your savings account. So at home, you would think about, well, how would I define what I own? I own the cash I have in the bank, my house or something like that. I might have loans like a mortgage, and I have money in my savings account. My assets equal my liabilities plus my savings, and that's exactly the same system that works here. The biggest of the funds is the general fund, because that's where everything flows through. Although part of the governmental funds, there are other governmental funds which we are not going to go through tonight. We're going to do that next time, but they flow through the same way. So the general fund contains most of the transactions. If you just turn back to page 4 one more time, what you'll notice is that most of the money right now is sitting in encumbrances. That's because we have set up agreements through the contracts we've agreed to, through the employment agreements that we've met, to honor payment of all of our staff and all of our suppliers through till the end of the year. And so all that money is sitting in encumbrances waiting to be paid out. As those amounts are paid out, whether through paychecks to the employees or accounts payable through the bills list, those amounts will decrease, the expenditures column will increase, and as we move to the end of the year, we'll have that liquidated and everything show up as expenditures like we saw last time. Does anyone have any questions?
So basically, the whole thing is in the first 4 or 5 pages.
Correct, and the rest is all detailed.
Detail. So the 4 and 5 pages that the team just went over, there's the ones that you can check monthly when we get our financial report. The backup for those give you each individual line item, which is nice, but we want to control and that's where you control this. Right?
Yeah, so the reason why we provide all this information to you each month is for you to be able to see that, in fact, cash ties, and we haven't overexpended any of the lines. Everything is either positive from a funds available point of view, or we haven't collected it yet. Yeah.
So then on page 4,
Talk about available balance. Is that almost essentially surplus? Because you would think that, in theory, the encumbrances plus expenditures should equal appropriations.
Right, except, and that is true as we proceed through the year. There are going to be items, for example, graduation. We've put money aside in the appropriation lines to cover graduation for 2020. However, we haven't drawn any purchase orders out yet for those costs because it's kind of early to be doing that. And so those funds for graduation are sitting in the available balances. As we proceed, and we'll talk about this as we go through the year, what you'll notice is that those amounts begin to decrease over time as those purchase orders begin to be drawn. So right now, it does look like we have a lot of money, but in the end, as the purchase orders are drawn, that money will be used up and won't be in the funds available column any longer. Your concern is when you start seeing negatives in those numbers, meaning we've overexpended a particular area. We've spent more than what we thought we would budget, and we haven't done anything to cover that. That's the thing that wants to jump out, and that should be something that you stop and say, wait a minute, why is this showing up as a negative?
You take the total appropriations on page 4, right? You haven't
Correct.
tested the whole transfer at this point.
We've done some transfers.
Nothing amazing.
No, and those would be included in the transfer reports.
So therefore, next month, if I might make a suggestion, review it again, but let's just go through the major, let's not do the backup. Let's just go through the first 4 or 5 pages. I think that might be easier for us to follow, easier to check. So if you just bring your first 4 or 5 pages from the next meeting, see what we the new sets and you can see the changes, have settled out. Now we can go together. Okay? Thank you very much, Virginia. We'll get there. We'll make business administrators out of all of us. Any other questions? Okay, next part of the agenda is where we open it up to the citizens for any questions they may have on the agenda. Excuse me, they're not on the agenda. Anything else that they would like to ask of the Board of Education? Okay, just to remind you that our next meeting is October 15th. We only have one meeting in October due to the holidays and stuff. And that we've seen a lot of events that the kids have mentioned. You see a lot of them on the agenda. Please try to come out and support our students from either sports activities or any other activities that you can think of. And I will now entertain a motion to adjourn, please.
So moved.
Second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thank you very much, ladies